Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Ruby's Rings. Today we're going to be going over 7 different ways that you can start making jewelry from home, all the tools you need to do it, and we're starting from the easiest to the most difficult. Let's get into it. Number 1, beaded jewelry. Beaded jewelry is probably the most easiest way to start making jewelry, especially because most people have already done it before. Whether it was making matching friendship bracelets or it was just making a cutesy little phone charm. You can start this by just using elastic cording or thread, layering different beads on in whatever form or fashion you're wanting to make them. Really cool thing about beaded jewelry is that you can start with the cheapest quality tools ever and materials, beads, really cheap craft beads, and work your way up to using genuine gemstones. You can start making quality gemstone beaded necklaces, beaded bracelets, even working your way up to stringed pearl necklaces. Make all sorts of things when it comes to beaded jewelry. You can make necklaces, rings even. Here's a picture of a ring that I made when I was younger that was technically a beaded ring that I used with craft wire, which most people would use elastic wire. I could never find one that would fit with these because they were called seed beads, so they're super tiny. But anyways, I'm getting off track. You can make rings, necklaces, anklets, earrings. Like, you can really make anything when it comes to beaded jewelry. A beautiful example of a beaded jewelry artist who worked her way up and made like really quality beaded jewelry items is Camari Michael. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And she makes these beautiful spider and gothic themed beaded jewelry pieces. So it's really cool that you can start with really cheap quality things and work your way up to the higher quality things. Tools for this would include cords, beads, depending on the type of item you're making. If it's not with elastic string, probably want some jump rings and clasps to secure your pieces, especially for doing necklaces, bracelets, or anklets. And then of course like earring wire or craft wire that you can make earring hooks for the beaded earrings that you make. And of course craft pliers, so you're able to fashion those things together. Jewelry creation number 2, charm necklaces. So this kind of falls under the same type of thing where you can go to Hobby Lobby and they have like ready-made chains that kind of look very similar to this like paperclip chain necklace that I made. They look very similar to this and you can just attach charms along it. I've seen a lot lately that people are starting to do charm bars where you can go to a pop-up or a market or a meetup and find people that have a setup where you can buy a charm necklace and pick all the charms you want and they create it right then and there and sell it like that. I totally forgot to mention Raelynn's boutique. She's the one who inspired this section for this video. She just opened a charm bar in Knoxville, Tennessee. So if you're wanting some charm necklaces, definitely go check her out. I'll have her linked below. Same exact tools needed for the beaded jewelry for the charm necklaces. You need jewelry pliers so you can unhook the jump rings and attach them to your necklaces. Really the only difference is the materials that you get. Instead of beads, you're going to be wanting necklaces and charms to attach to those necklaces. Next on our list is chainmail jewelry. Chainmail is a very specific type of jewelry, which is just fascinating. And honestly, it's hardcore. This is a very methodical type of jewelry making. And honestly, I see it as the knitting or crocheting version of jewelry making. You can again make some really gnarly things when it comes to this route. Most of the designs, because of the metal you're working with, don't require soldering because you're, I guess, essentially weaving the metal in between itself so intricately that it's not really going to pry open. I'm sure if you were to do like sterling silver or gold chainmail versions of jewelry, which would be stunning, that'd be awesome to see, then you might need to do some soldering, but for the most part, you don't need to be doing any soldering. The tools you need for this are pliers, bunches and bunches of bags of jump rings, and a heck of a lot of patience. This can take hours upon hours of opening and closing all these jump rings. It really just reminds me of knitting or crocheting, in all honesty. Next on our list would be polymer clay. A very crafty way of jewelry making, and you can get, again, as intricate in your art as you want to, and as much as your artistic self can allow. It combines 2 different types of art into one. The majority of polymer clay that I've seen have been polymer clay earrings, where it's like the generic rainbow shape, or maybe a leaf design, or I don't know, cute like little, I think it's kawaii. Something that I challenge you guys, if you're interested in this route of jewelry, or if you're already making this kind of jewelry, I would absolutely adore to see genuine sculptures made from this craft. And of course, I'm not sure if that's something that you're just unable to really do because of the material. When you're baking it, maybe it explodes, stuff like that. I know there's probably limitations to what you're building, but if it's possible, I would absolutely adore to see genuine sculptures made. And when I say that, I mean something that's like Rome era marble physical body sculptures, like something like that. Like, that would be so insane to see. I'm challenging you guys with this. Tools for this would include an X-Acto knife, some type of mat to cut on, molds, rolling and detailing utensils, baking cutouts if you're doing like stars or hearts or whatever. If you want like a uniform cutout, you can use like baking cookie molds, cookie cutter things. Jewelry components such as earring posts or anything to stick into the polymer clay so that your attachments can attach to the clay, if that makes sense. An oven or a kiln to bake your products in, and depending on the type of polymer clay, I believe you're supposed to have some type of resin form. In all honesty, I'm not too keen on that aspect. On the resin part, I'm a little, I'm not as well in depth and understanding of that type of jewelry making, but I believe you do need resin. The main person I watch personally when it comes to any type of polymer clay creations would be Uncomfy. Tammy makes some awesome YouTube videos. I watch her videos all the time. She's just a comfort creator at this point. The majority of a lot of her videos did center around making polymer clay creations, and she would discuss how she would need to use some type of resin for her creations. Even though it wasn't necessarily jewelry, she'd make keychains or little figurines, but she still needed that resin aspect. Next on our list would be wire wrapping. Wire wrapping was my gateway drug into the jewelry world. I started with wire wrapping, and of course it holds a special place in my heart because of that. I saw some random TikTok tutorial of how to make super easy craft wire and beaded rings that you'd get from Walmart. And so I begged my mom to go to Walmart. We got 20 gauge copper craft wire and some cheap beads, and I started making jewelry, and I fell in love. One of the people that I saw that really inspired me in this crafting was Potatosproutcrafts. I don't believe she sells jewelry anymore, but I'm gonna put her page up here. She was a huge inspiration in my wire wrapping, from me growing from the really simple design, not necessarily durable pieces that I was making, and working my way up to really genuine art crafted, better quality wire wrap designs. So I started investing in different shapes of wire, different sizes of wire, invested in sterling silver wire and gold filled wire versus the regular craft wire at Hobby Lobby that would turn my skin green. I actually started getting very good quality items for my wire wraps. That way I could actually wear the rings I made without my skin turning green and feeling icky from it. I also moved from using beads to using actual cabochons and real gemstones. Another cool thing about wire wrapping is that you can pretty much take it wherever you want to go. This probably would be the same for beaded jewelry if you had like a craft set with you, but personally when it came to wire wrapping, I could put it in one little bag and take it with me wherever I went and continue working on a piece that I was working on. Tools for this kind of ranges depending on where you're starting or where you want to go. I definitely recommend getting just some basic craft wire and beads from Walmart, because the first couple pieces you're going to make aren't going to be that great. I know some people strictly make copper pieces, which for me, I consider that base metal because it turns my skin green. It gives me an allergic reaction. I just don't use it because I personally can't wear it. And if I'm going to make jewelry, I want it to be something that I know that I could also wear. So once I got pretty good at it, I stopped using craft wire and I immediately jumped to using sterling silver and better quality pieces that I knew wouldn't turn people's skin green or give them allergic reactions. I recommend doing different sized and shapes of wire. There's half round, square, and full round. For the majority of my beginning work, I used round because I didn't know there was different shapes, but you can start using square and half round and really elevate the design and intricacy of your pieces and really give it like some depth and texture. It's just really cool what you can do. You can get these different shapes of wire from Rio Grande. That's where I got and still get a lot of my jewelry supplies. You're gonna need pliers of different sizes and different uses, flush cutters.
So I also forgot a very crucial tool in wire wrapping, wax casting, and metalsmithing that you'll learn about later on is a ring mandrel. It's so crucial, and I completely forgot about it for all three of these. So a ring mandrel is definitely a must-have, must-need item. So yeah, my bad.
I honestly would recommend going in and getting a rotary tool at this point in jewelry creation, because you are at the point where you're using sterling silver or gold filled. You are going to want to polish your pieces. It really cleans up your pieces so beautifully and just takes it to a whole other level. If you are unable to afford a rotary tool, I still use the one I got from Harbor Freight that was $15. I'm saving up for a rotary tool that's like the $300, $400 one. It's an SR Fordham. That's my dream rotary tool. I'm saving up for it, but I don't want to bite the bullet and buy it. I'm someone that will wait till the very last second to buy something. I hate spending money on things, especially things for myself. And with my business being my business, it feels like it's a purchase for myself and not my business. So I'm really holding off until my Harbor Freight rotary tool gets destroyed, but I'm coming for you, SR Fordham. I'm gonna get you one day, I promise, and I am so excited for that day. But again, if you're unable to get any type of rotary tools, the Harbor Freight one was 15 bucks and it does the job. I've had mine for a couple years now. It's definitely decrepit and it kind of breaks down every now and then because it has been so long and I have really put it to the test and put used to it. But for wire wraps, you're not going to need to use it as much as I now use mine with metalsmithing, so you're probably going to be fine just getting that and sticking with that for a while. You can just start with steel wool and a polishing cloth. That's what I did with the majority of my pieces until I got a rotary tool, and it seemed to work just fine. I definitely don't recommend using any steel wool or polishing compounds on base metal. I'm not quite sure on copper. You might be able to do it on copper, but base metal, like the gold colored copper, don't do that. It'll take off the gold coloring. Don't do that. I learned that the hard way. You're gonna need files to file down any sharp edges made with your flush cutters. And I think that's it when it comes to wire wrapping. Again, you don't need that many tools. You honestly can pick it up and take it wherever you go. And again, I do miss that freedom when it comes to jewelry creation. Next on our list would be wax carving. Wax carving is one that, again, you can go as minimal or as detailed in the process of the making as you want. When I say that, I mean the creation process aspect. You can be a wax carver where you're literally only making wax and that's it. You get your pieces casted, you get them finished from someone else, you get them stone set from someone else, and the only thing you do is make the initial wax carving design. Or you could be a wax carver that wants to wax carve, you want to cast it yourself, you want to clean it up yourself, you want to polish it yourself, you want to set the stones yourself. It's kind of dependent on where you're at in your space and the ability to get tools and stuff. For me personally, I'm at the stage where I'm unable to cast anything on my own, so I have to send mine to a caster, but I do everything else. I do the wax carving, I get it casted through someone else. Once it's casted, it gets sent back to me. I get the raw casting back. I clean it up, polish it, and then set the stone, and then it's a finished piece of jewelry. I'll probably stay in that category for a while until I get a sand casting set up, which is something I really do want to start investing in getting and researching more about. So if you have any suggestions about sand casting, let me know because I really, really want to start casting on my own and actually be a part of that process and see what it's like, because the downsides of outsourcing is that it takes time. For me personally, I do have to outsource my wax casting. I really want to start wax casting myself, but I'm kind of limited on my money, my time, and my space. So for me personally, metalsmithing is the route I like to take when it comes to jewelry creations. Of course, there are some types of jewelry that you just cannot hand fabricate. You kind of do have to wax carve it, which those kind of pieces I am doing with wax carving. Obviously, I just hate how long it takes to actually get the piece finished. I believe personally the cheapest route when it comes to wax carving would be to outsource casting and do all of the rest in-house. Again, I really want to look into doing sand casting because I'm that impatient. I would love to be able to make some wax carvings, go out into the backyard, sand cast them, and by the next day have the raw material to finish, and then I could get a piece finished within the week. I don't have to wait to get it back from the caster, which it's no hate to the caster. It's not their problem. It's not their fault. They're doing it in a very good time frame. It's just my own personal preference of how I'm really antsy to get a piece done. I want to get it done. I want to see the finished result. I want it to be done so I can share it with you guys. Like I just want to get it done. I'm excited, you know? And this ring set right here is actually the first wax casted ring set that I ever made. It was a citrine. It's disgusting right now. I need to clean it so bad. It's a citrine stone, which is my boyfriend's birthstone, and a molten-esque magma style band on top. A wonderful, wonderful wax carver and an inspiration. She's one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel, Mitera Made. She is perfection. She's lovely. She's awesome. I love her videos. A lot of my jewelry creation methods I've learned from her. She is just a doll. I adore her. Definitely check her out because she just makes some amazing things. And because she recently opened up casting on her channel, I'm now able to start casting again. Tools that would be needed for this type of jewelry creation would include dental tools or clay carving tools. I say dental tools because they're a lot cheaper than actual wax carving tools. If you're getting a tool, but it says jewelry in the description or anything like that, it's gonna be a huge price markup. I promise you. If you can find dental tools or super cheap tools from Harbor Freight, which is where I got most of my tools for wax carving, go for those because they're the same tool, but because they don't say for jewelers or jewelry version or jewelers tools, jewelers wax carving tools. Those type of tools are so much more expensive than the generic regular tool that doesn't have the label for a jeweler type of thing, if that makes sense. Other tools include carving tools, X-Acto knives, files, candles, or low temp soldering irons. I got a low temp soldering iron because I don't want to breathe in candle fumes all day long. A lot of wax carvers use isopropyl lamps or alcohol lamps. Personally, I've seen so many like cancer warnings for those that I just don't even want to mess with it. So I opted for a low temp soldering iron. It honestly makes the creation process way easier. I definitely recommend it. I got mine off of Amazon. I'll have it linked below. It was like $50, but I promise you it was so worth it. And you can alter the temperature, which was a huge thing for me. That was the main reason why I opted for that, is that I was able to really have full control over my wax creation process. And I didn't have to worry about inhaling toxic fumes all day long and destroying my brain cells. Another thing you need is an X-Acto knife. Another thing I would definitely recommend is blue tack. That's mainly for when you're making a ring and you're putting it on a ring mandrel and you're trying to build your ring based off of the stone. Having blue tack to stick your stone into on the ring mandrel helps you so much when you're trying to make that ring and having the wax really form up around the stone versus just trying to dig out some random blob for your stone to sit in. It just makes it a little easier. Last but not least, metalsmithing. The tool list for this is endless, so I'm just gonna give you the absolute basic necessities that I got personally, so I'm not just info dumping on you, because that's gonna be way too long of a video if I do that. Metalsmithing is an extremely fun jewelry creation process. You can make some gnarly creations with this. You can be a silversmith who makes Western style turquoise jewelry, or you can be a goldsmith who makes engagement rings. You could be a special jeweler for Cartier or Tiffany & Co. and make very, very high-end jewelry pieces that are like statement pieces people would wear at the Met Gala. Like, you can do a lot with this. You can do a lot with this. The tools that I got when I first started, a lot of them carried over from wire wrapping. I had my jewelry pliers, I had files, I had my rotary tool all ready from wire wrapping, as well as a ring mandrel.
And a rubber mallet and ball and pin hammer. I think those were the last two tools that I forgot. My bad, guys.
One of the things that I ended up getting that had the majority of what I needed for metalsmithing was a beginner metalsmithing kit. I got mine from Autofry. I still don't know how to pronounce it, but I got my kit from them. One of the things I had to get on my own was a torch. I have my trusty and dusty micro torch that I got from Harbor Freight. This thing's gnarly. I definitely need to get a different torch, but this is all I could afford at the time, and this is the only thing that I have had since then, and I've been using it for a year now, and I've made some pretty decent pieces. When I was told before I wouldn't be able to make jewelry at all with this thing, and look at the pieces I made now. Anyways, separate tangent, but I got this thing at Harbor Freight. If you can't tell, I love Harbor Freight. I get a lot of really cheap tools from there without having to break the bank. So a lot of my tools carried over, but I got that metalsmithing kit as well as my torch. I of course had to get butane. On top of that, you're probably gonna need a burnisher, a bezel rocker, and some type of hand vise for different types of ball burrs, barrel burrs, anything for drilling so you can stone set. That's like a whole different video. I'd have to go over specifics of like what tools you need for this stone setting, what type of tools you need for this type of stone setting, and this jewelry creation, fabrication type of thing. The list is endless when it comes to metalsmithing.
In just a second, you're going to hear me say that I probably would have to make an entirely separate video over specific tools needed for specific fabrication methods. I'm mainly saying that for pave setting, flush setting, prong setting, things like that. But at a beginner level, all of the tools stated before is all you're going to need, especially if you're going for the more Western style type of jewelry making where you're doing cabochon rings and bezel set jewelry. You're not going to need anything else. Everything listed before that, you're going to be just fine and have plenty of tools until you're ready to upgrade in your fabrication methods and maybe make engagement rings or something like that.
And if you do want a video over the very in-depth tool list of specific jewelry creation methods and what you need to make those and do that type of fabrication, let me know in the comments below, but that would be a whole separate video because that would be so insanely long. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you a little insight to the world of jewelry creation, and I hope it got you inspired and that you're gonna start making jewelry soon. Comment down below if there is a jewelry creation method that you're gonna try now from this video. I would love to know. Let me know your process if you film it. I'd love to see your growth in the creation process and where you go with all of these jewelry creation methods. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you do feel so inclined, and leave any prayer requests in the comments down below and I'll be praying for you. So yeah, I'll see you when I see you. God bless you guys. Love you, bye.